The Crimson Thread, Lydia's Story. Chapter 1. The Bleeding Begins. The first drops of blood appeared on a Tuesday morning in spring, when Lydia was barely 16 and preparing for her betrothal to Matthias, the merchant's son. She had been grinding barley in her father's courtyard, humming a wedding song her mother had taught her, when she felt the warm trickle down her thigh. "Mama," she called softly, her voice barely above a whisper. But Sarah, her mother, was already rushing toward her, having seen the crimson stain spreading across Lydia's white linen dress. "Hush, child," Sarah whispered, wrapping her arms around her daughter. "It's nothing to fear. You're becoming a woman." But as days turned to weeks, and weeks to months, the bleeding never stopped. What should have been a natural cycle became an endless torment, a river of crimson that flowed without mercy or pause. Lydia's father, Benjamin, was a respected scribe in Jerusalem, a man who knew the law inside and out. He understood what this meant for his daughter. She would be considered unclean, untouchable, unable to enter the temple or even embrace her own family without defiling them. "We must seek the physicians," he declared one evening, his voice heavy with desperation. "Surely there is something that can be done." Chapter 2. The Descent into Darkness. Year 1. Dr. Nicodemus was the first. A learned man who had studied in Alexandria, he examined Lydia from behind a curtain and prescribed a mixture of crushed pearls and wine. "The pearls will bind the blood," he explained confidently. "I have seen it work before." But the pearls only made her stomach burn and the bleeding continued. Year 2. Marcus, the Roman physician, suggested iron treatments. "The body needs iron to make blood," he reasoned. "Perhaps if we give her iron, the bleeding will stop." The iron supplements turned her teeth black and her breath foul, but still, the blood flowed. Year 3. The Egyptian healer, Kiti, arrived with his bag of mysterious powders and animal bones. He burned incense and chanted in a language Lydia didn't understand, then gave her a bitter tea made from the bark of trees that grew only beside the Nile. "The goddess Isis will heal you," he promised, "but you must drink this every day at sunrise." Lydia drank the tea faithfully, watching each sunrise with desperate hope. But the only change was the constant nausea that now accompanied her bleeding. Year 4. By now, Lydia's betrothal to Matthias had been broken. No man would marry a woman who was perpetually unclean. Her friends had drifted away, afraid of being contaminated by her condition. She spent her days in isolation, reading scrolls her father brought her, learning to weave, and slowly watching her life savings disappear into the purses of physicians and healers. The Persian mystic, Darius, claimed he could heal her through prayer and fasting. "The body must be purified," he declared. "Only through deprivation can the soul be cleansed." Lydia fasted until her ribs showed through her skin, until her hair began to fall out in clumps. The bleeding continued, now accompanied by weakness so severe she could barely stand. Year 5. Sarah, her mother, died that winter. Some whispered it was from exhaustion, from years of caring for her cursed daughter. Others said it was from shame. Lydia believed it was from a broken heart. As her mother was laid to rest, Lydia stood at a distance, unable to comfort her father or receive comfort herself. She was alone now in a way she had never imagined possible. Chapter 3. The Deepening Wound. Year 6. The Greek physician, Apollodorus, arrived with great fanfare. He had supposedly healed similar cases in Athens and claimed to understand the mysteries of the female body better than any man in the East. "The problem is in the womb," he announced after his examination. "It must be cleansed with fire." The treatment was agony beyond description. Heated iron rods were inserted into her body while she bit down on leather straps to keep from screaming. The pain was so intense she lost consciousness several times. When it was over, she was bedridden for weeks, but the bleeding continued, now accompanied by scarring that made every step painful. Year 7. Rabbi Mordecai, despite his initial reluctance to deal with such matters, agreed to consult with Lydia about spiritual causes for her condition. "Perhaps you have sinned," he suggested gently. "Or perhaps your father, or your father's father. The sins of the fathers can be visited upon the children." Lydia spent hours searching her heart, confessing every small transgression she could remember. She gave away her jewelry, her fine clothes, her books, everything she owned, to the poor, hoping to atone for whatever sin had brought this curse upon her. Still, the bleeding continued. Year 8. The Babylonian sorcerer Nebuchadnezzar promised to break whatever curse had been placed upon her. He drew circles in the sand, burned strange herbs, and spoke incantations over bowls of water mixed with oil. "Someone has cursed you," he declared. "I can feel the dark magic around you, but I can break it, for a price." Lydia paid him everything she had left, watching desperately as he performed his rituals. But when morning came, the only thing that had changed was the emptiness of her purse.